Good morning, this is Jacob here with another episode of the Let's Get to Business podcast. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about keeping the right priorities. And the only reason that I'm talking about this, I ran across something in Proverbs, and it kind of got me to thinking. Proverbs 24:27, it says, "Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterward build thine house." He's saying, look, guys, you can go build, if I'm moving into a new area, and the first thing that's important is to get my living. Take care of my living first. If I'm a farmer, the first thing I do is I prepare the fields. I rough it. I camp, whatever it takes, and afterward build thine house. Once we have it, so I think that we gotta remember to keep the priorities in order. And so many people, they want to live, and this is something that the only reason that I'm talking about this is because something I run into myself is like, I find myself, I want to live a higher lifestyle than I can afford. The problem is that when we live a lifestyle we can't afford right now, what it does is it makes that our living gets even harder. So if the farmer first builds his house, he's not going to have the resources left. He's not going to have the time left. He's not going to have the ability left to plant his crop and make it. The thing about it is we first plant the crop, if we first focus on bringing in the income, when we first bring in on the resources, such as the farmer, when we first plant our crop, then everything else will take care of it afterward. Many people make excuses, and I know that I have in myself in the past, but I just can't afford to do my marketing. I just can't afford to do this, or I can't afford to do that. The problem is that when you say that, you can't afford to put the seeds into the ground, guess what happens? You're never going to have a crop either. And so I think it's something very important to kind of think about, keeping our right priorities. In Proverbs 26, it says, "The slothful man says, there's a lion in the way." There's a lion in the streets. We can make excuses. It is so easy to make an excuse. But the difficulties. This could happen. I'm not going to drive down the road because I could wreck my car. We don't say that, but yet we make the exact same type of excuse all the time of other things in our life that are just as important. I'm not going to go exercise today because my leg ache. It just doesn't suit today, or whatever. We can make all the excuses we want, but the reality is, until we take action, until we plant a seed, until we stop making excuses, we're not going to move ahead in our life. I think this is something that is extremely important. What excuses are we taking? What excuses are we using to leverage to keep ourselves from actually doing what's right? What should we be doing instead of excuses? As Jim Rohn says, don't major in minor things. Don't major in minor things. He's like, hey, I invited the guy to the meeting. We're going to talk about business. And he says, he didn't have time to come. He had to take the trash out. You can't let the trash pile up. Or he says, I had to fix the screen door. It was squeaking. We can make all the excuses we want. There's an endless amount of things to do. The problem is if we don't focus on priorities first, we will never get to the really important stuff. We will always be buried in minutia. And that's something that I notice in my own business, is that focus on what is the most important thing now, and everything else will you will figure out how to handle it. What happens is when you stop doing the things you should not do, when you stop doing minor things, and this is something that I've experienced for myself, is like when I stop doing minor things, like constantly checking my email and trying to just a little tiny stuff. When I stop trying to micromanage that, when I stop trying to handle those during important business hours, guess what happens? I go take care of the most important things first. A lot of those little minutiae, they either disappear or two, you're under a time pressure, so your unconscious, your subconscious mind is actually figuring out a way for you to do it faster and more efficiently. It forces you to adapt and to survive. By refusing to do low priority things first, it forces you, when it comes time to do that and your time is limited, it forces you to adapt, and it also helps you to become better at finding other people to help you do things. It helps you no man, people say that no man is an island. See, no one man can handle everything himself. We need other people. So sometimes it forces you, by refusing to do the things that are low priority, by refusing to do those right away, by, procrastinating those things off. It's kind of like, there's actually a book called Procrastinate on Purpose that actually talks about this concept where you procrastinate the things that don't serve you in the moment, that don't serve you right now in your business, that don't serve you today in your business. And by procrastinating on that, guess what happens? 80% of those things go away, or you find somebody else to do them. It helps you to delegate a lot of those things out, especially the things that you're not that good at. Maybe by doing that, procrastinating on it, and finding somebody else to do it, what happens is that those things you end up delegating them because still have to be done. If they don't have to be done, guess what? Those things go away anyway. So just something to think about. Second thing is, all right, so what excuses are you making to keep you from the right priorities? That's something I was talking about. It's like, that's something that I had to ask myself. And whenever I share a podcast episode, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to only share things that I've learned myself. And I know that I'm far from perfect. I know there's so many areas that I still have to improve. I do know that. And I think that the more that we grow and the more that we know, the more that we want to know and the more that we want to grow. So I think it's very important to have a little bit of that mindset. So I guess the question is, what action or what one excuse in your life, what is one thing in your life that if you put it priority above everything else, it would actually help you in the long term? What is one thing that you can make priority right now? If it's spiritually, it's like, I'm going to read my Bible every single day. Maybe if it's your business, you're going to say, you know what? Maybe if it's personal, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to exercise every single day. If it is business, it might say, you know what? I'm going to be in the office by 7 o'clock every morning, or I am going to make 10 calls per day, or whatever it may be. It doesn't really matter. The point is, what one priority can you set in place right now that you can take action on today that will make a difference 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? I think it's something to think about. What are the priorities that we need to have right now? So with that, I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing day. Thanks for listening. We'll talk with you next time.